Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. This is Canto 10, Chapter 53, Text 8. Puram samrishta samsikta margaratya chatushpatam chitradvaja patakabhi Toranai samalankritam Puram samrishta samsikta Margaratya chatushpatam Chitradvaja patakabhi Toranai samalankritam Puram samrishta samsikta Margaratya chatushpatam Chitradvaja patakabhi Toranai samalankritam Puram samrishta samsikta Margaratya chatushpatam Chitradvaja patakabhi Samalankritam Samrishta samsikta Chitradvaja patakabhi Chitradvaja patakabhi Mataji, word-to-word meaning, translation and purport by disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Puram, the city. Samrishta, thoroughly cleaned. Samsikta, and sprinkled abundantly with water. Marga, the main avenues. Ratya, commercial roads. Chatupatem, and intersections. Chitra, variegated. Dhvaja, on flagpoles. Patakabhi, with banners. Toranai and archways, Samalankritam, decorated. Translation. The king had the main avenues, commercial roads and intersections thoroughly cleaned and then sprinkled with water. And he also had the city decorated with triumphant archways and multicolored banners on poles. The men and women of the city, arrayed in spotless raiment and anointed with fragrant sandalwood paste, wore precious necklaces, flower garlands, and jeweled ornaments, and the opulent homes were filled with the aroma of aguru. Purport. When earthen roads are sprinkled with water, the dust settles down and the road becomes smooth and firm. King Bhishmaka thoroughly prepared for the great wedding, setting the scene for Lord Krishna's triumphant abduction of beautiful Rukmini Devi. We'll also read the verses from 6, 7. Aruya Shandanam Shore Vijam Aropya Turnagai Anarthad Ekaratrena Vidarbha Agamadhayai. Lord Shauri mounted his chariot and had the Brahmana do likewise. And the Lord's swift horses took them from the Anartha district to Vidarbha in a single night. Raja sa kundina pati putra sneha vashanuga Shishupalaya swam kanyam dasyan karma nakaraya. King Bhishmaka, the master of Kundina, having succumbed to the sway of affection for his son, was about to give his daughter to Shishupal. The king saw to all the required preparations. Purport. Srila Sridhar Swami points out in this connection that King Bhishmaka had no particular liking for Shishupal, but rather acted out of attachment for his son Rukmini. Hare Krishna. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Tadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sabagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sabagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratashe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nila Chalanivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadrabhyam Jagannatha Te Namaha. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha Vasindubhyaiva cha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate giram yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Vinatarinam. Hare Krishna. So I seek blessings of all the Vaishnavas present here, and especially from His Grace Narasimhananda Prabhu. All the devotees actually were filled with anticipation to hear from Prabhuji, and I'm here with his blessings. So Prabhu mentioned that he would like to, actually prepare more and give a blissful experience to all the devotees. I was just sharing with him that we were in Albert Road once when Prabhu had come, and Prabhu has a great sense of humor. I remember still Prabhu saying that the devotees should laugh and be happy, and that will increase their stability of their practice and be able to stay long. Because who doesn't like to be happy and be blissful, right? So I remember that point very vividly, and definitely that whole 1 hour was filled with laughter and making us, it was not only laughter but with a lot of sublime learning from Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhu would speak Prabhupada's Leela and then give a, understanding on an application and then say something. And we are very blessed to have his association. Prabhu has been in the movement for 50 years now, right? 71 and 52 years.
Who's counting?
We are counting. Actually, for all the devotees, their inspiration is the senior disciples of Prabhupada, because we did not have the association of Srila Prabhupada, but Prabhupada's learning through the disciples, and their steady, enthusiastic practice is the inspiration for all the devotees. That's where we need to move. And this is my observation of all the disciples of Prabhupada, that like Prabhupada, when they go into their 70s, they have their energy rejuvenated for new projects. And this is my reflection as I see disciples of Prabhupada. So you never grow old, you only grow young.
So there's a very famous quote from Bob Dylan, famous folk singer in America. You know Bob Dylan?
No.
Yes. And in that song he says, the refrain is that I was so much older then, and I'm so much younger now.
And
This is this is how we're supposed to be, right? We're supposed to be working backwards, becoming younger. But now you made it like, they're going to expect some fantastic lecture tomorrow or something.
No. No, I didn't.
I'm just going to have to give some, lecture about how horrible the material world is, and, why every birth chapel made disease, and make everybody depressed. Just so, because in Hollywood there's a saying, you're only as good as your last movie. For the director, you're only as good as your last movie. So in this time, you're only as good as your last
Lecture.
And you haven't heard my last lecture, because the last one you heard a long time ago.
Very good.
And then there's some devotees that they give the same lecture. But then the internet started, so that, that cut out a lot of
Repetition.
classes. And when they would see me, oh my God, they would see me somewhere. But I also have to say that, when you were in high school, everyone went to high school,
Yes.
there was always those
Yeah.
kids in high school,
𝐂𝐻𝐈𝐍.
and they seemed to never have to study, and they'd always ace their exams. Wasn't that those kids, right? You worked, you studied, and then you got a B or a C class, maybe once in a while A-ones, right? But there was these kids that they didn't have to study, they just went in, they aced the exam. Do you have experience with that? So I'm one of those guys, I have to study, I have to really work hard, just to get a B+. So don't expect much more.
No. Very good. And also you may be very happy to know, we will definitely hear about Prabhu tomorrow, but Prabhu is one of the foundation of ISKCON television, ITV, and all the films that you all may have seen. I think all of us grew up seeing the Hare Krishna world and all those movies to see ISKCON's activities all over the world. So, and many other movies, Neelachal Mahaprabhu, I have seen that, and many ITV productions. So, Prabhu has been consistently working for decades on that. And here, when he is here, he's on his embarking his new project. He's making we are discussing action and romance here of Lord Sri Krishna, and he's on to make a Bollywood movie on mother cows, which I think is like not happened in history of Bollywood, of film industry. So we're very blessed to have Prabhu's association with us, and very young, as he said. So I'd like to welcome him to ISKCON New Town by loudly chanting 3 times. Correct. So with all of your blessings, I'll try to repeat the words of Srila Prabhupada and other Vaishnavas that I've heard. So this is a very beautiful section of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the Lord is in Dwarka and is engaged in his pastimes of marriages. The movie industry definitely borrows all their ideas from Bhagavatam, I would say. Because the kind of thrillers, the kind of action that you see in Bhagavatam is nowhere else. But they can only reproduce it to a little extent, right? So it's definitely, I think, a dream that imagine all our Bhagavatam episodes get into thriller movies and people will learn so much Krishna consciousness and get excitement in their lives. And Krishna's activities are always filled with rasa. Virya ras, madhurya ras, vibhatsa. There are 5 primary rasas and there are 7 secondary rasas. And Krishna being Akhila Rasamrita Murti, Rasa Shekara, Rasa Raj, always loves to mix all these rasas together. And when they are all put in a nice way, that's when the ecstasy and the experience is so much. Like you make a preparation, it has salty, something a little spicy, and then this and that, you mix it, then it's super relishable. Well, that is Krishna's pastimes, action and romance. And you would have seen, I have witnessed in Bollywood or in Tollywood, everybody actually is looking for a hero in their life whom they can worship. I remember some of the South Indian heroes who have a lot of following in terms like, they're like, they would worship them like God, though they are not that. So if you go for the first show, it's so much of a gala. The first entry of the hero and everybody is like euphoric. So this is actually a nature of the jiva and prakriti to actually look for the Purusha and then be sheltered in that Purusha. And in the movies they will show that there are so many villains and so many people who have kind of put a very difficult situation, and who will put this injustice to task. And suddenly this heroic person from nowhere comes and his chivalrous acts, which are impossible human feats, he jumps and maybe 25, 30 people he can take them single. And it's like action, and all of us have watched it. None of us believe it, but we like it. Right? Because I know one South Indian actor who would be like, beat a person, he'd go like 30 feet. It's like flying. And nobody would even put a common sense. How is it possible? Jai Shri Nitai Gauranga ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. It's not possible. But then once I heard in the newspaper that someone convicted him that he was involved in some kind of, some scandal. In reality, not in the movie. In reality, he was convicted that he was a part of a scandal and he couldn't take it that the police will come and catch him. He got a heart attack. And he was in the hospital with glucose and all that stuff. So the heroes of this world, right? So the heroes of this world, they are on the screen showing Krishna's opulence of chivalrousness. And that's how they get so much following. But in their mortal situation, they have no power. I also would speak on this aspect that when you look at the songs made, you see the hero and heroine wearing such exotic dresses and so many people following. And suddenly as the song goes on, they go into another environment, change the color along according to the environment. Doesn't happen in Hollywood for sure, I think. But in Indian, Bollywood and Hollywood, and you see a lot of people with a similar dress. And someone may think, ऐसा हो सकता है क्या? Generally, you dance a way, the other person says, I'll dance my way. And 30 dancing together. I could say this can only happen in Vrindavan. When Krishna and Radharani are having Leela and Vrindadevi is decorating the atmosphere, decorating the color of every associate and everyone dancing to make Radha and Krishna happy. So because we see glimpses of that world on the screen, it gives us excitement. It gives us that rasa. And people want to go and more and watch it. But if we read the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of devotees hearing from the acharyas, Prabhupada says in the first canto of Bhagavatam that Bhagavatam has all the rasa. So if you read Bhagavatam and drink it through the ears, then we will be satiated. That desire will get satiated. We will find our real hero in our lives. And that is Lord Shri Krishna. In these pages of Bhagavatam. And the Lord here is addressed as Shauri. And Shauri is a word which means a warrior. Somebody who likes to display prowess. Right? Like the knights or the warriors who have no discussion about consequences, who have no fear of life. They're up for a purpose and a performance. And that is Sri Krishna. And Lord Krishna's performance is filled with thriller, action and emotion. It's just not action like, aisa mara ki apne ko bhi you beat a person and maybe your party is also bet up. Not like that. A lot of discretion. We are hearing about the 4 horses of Krishna just before this verse. And I was reading that Krishna, when he was a charioteer of Arjuna, he actually used the horses to ride. They were his companions to assist him in the service to Arjuna. It is said after the day, the war ended, like say the day in the evening, Krishna actually spent a good time massaging the feet of the horses with love and affection. He says, you're all assisting me to do this wonderful service. Thank you so much. And Krishna with affection would massage their feet. And as Krishna would massage their feet, their whole tiredness, just by the transcendental touch of the Lord, they will be energized. They feel no pain. They said they want to again run with great rush and make the Lord victorious. So the Lord is such a great Shauri, but his dealings with his devotees always makes them feel so special. People, when they are wanting a great performance, they only want the whole world to clap for them. Right? But the Lord, he wants the whole world to clap, and even he wants the world to clap along with the devotees. And here, when this word Shauri is being used, right, This word Shauri is used in the Bhagavatam for Krishna several times, and this word Shauri is also used for Vasudeva, his father, Anakadundubi, as Srinadai Prabhu was recollecting, saying that when he was born, there were kettle drums in the sky, and that's why his name is Anakadundubi. But he's also termed as Shauri at the time when he deals with Kamsa and the whole pastime. And he says, the Acharyas explain he's said to be Shauri because of his patience, dhairya. Because we don't hear Vasudeva having fought any wars or killed some demons or killed some opponents. So there's no mention as such. Why the Acharyas call him Shauri, Shukadeva Goswami? He says because of patience, dhairya, right? You know to control your emotions and act appropriately. Like when Devaki was to be killed by Kamsa, instead of using his valor, he used his intelligence and understood that Krishna is going to come. And I have to go through the whole situation of 6 children being killed right in front of me. But that's the kind of price I have to pay for the Supreme Lord to appear. So that kind of dhairya for the right time and the right thing to happen needs a lot of internal strength. The most difficult thing in Kali Yuga today is patience. Because the modern technology, the way it is designed, is making you more impatient. When you're staying in a village or when you're staying with Mother Nature, everything you do it on your own and you learn a lot of patience. You grow your crop, that it takes few months, you become grateful to the Lord, be blessed by nature, and then you say it comes out. So, your life is always about, making your endeavor with patience, waiting for it, and this fulfillment. But today the technology is a press of a button, and the least time they are at your doorstep. Everything is like that. So people's ability to tolerate and be patient is literally dying off. And things don't go their way, they are up for a suicide. Or I can't take it. Because people have got so used to it. So Vasudeva is really known for his patience, to wait for the right time to come. And as devotees, as we are practicing, this is something we experience, that sometimes we put our full endeavor and nothing happens. And then you wait for the right time and something happens and it's like, wow, Prabhu, you did this. And you know for yourself that when I put it, it didn't happen. And just the right things happened at the right time and it happened. So the quality we can learn from Vasudeva is on being patient. Shauri, becoming a Shauri. And when this word is used, Shauri, for the Supreme Lord, it's about his most chivalrous performances. After he got married to Rukmini and many other queens, he heard that Kaushal Raj, king of Kaushala, Nagnajit, has a daughter of marriageable age. And Krishna understood about she being so filled with qualities, and obviously she's also the goddess of fortune, yearning for Krishna. The Lord does not get attracted by the aspects of feminine beauty. He actually gets enticed by the devotion. So he comes to the Raja of Kaushala and he says, my dear king, we are from royal race, we don't beg. Right? We don't beg. But because we are friends, I want to make friends with you, I would like you to gift me your daughter as an exchange. And he said in royal kings, they don't give in exchange necessarily. So he said, I've come to become your friend and in exchange, give me your daughter. And Kaushal Raj knew that this is none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He said, yes, my dear Lord, you are the abode of the goddess of fortune. Brahma, Shiva, all the Devatas always long for your association and service. It's my earnest desire. But my Lord, the Sattvatas have put a condition and a contest that these 7 bulls, I think the King Nagnajit showed them, anyone who can bridle them can have my daughter in return. And these 7 bulls, Shukadeva Goswami says, they were allergic to the smell of warriors. They just didn't like them. So whoever warriors tried to bridle them, the history says they were hospitalized in the orthopedic hospitals. Limbs broken apart. Case study. And Krishna comes in, and we have a little experience. Sometimes when we hear Bhagavatam, we don't have an example to relate. It goes like beyond our head. But we have Subal. When Subal gets upset and angry, who would like to go inside and caress him? Hari bol Subal. And our devotees, because we're working on expanding the Goshala, have visited many Goshalas around in Calcutta. And there's one place in Barasat, there they have bulls. And these bulls are so heighted, more than the height of a human being, and very, very ferocious. So they are kept one in a shed. And it's like how much? 10 centimeter wall. Like a brick kept fully. Here, and everywhere. And to look also, they have like bloodshot eyes. And huge. And sometimes such bulls or such sand, they tie them up with chains just to keep him in control. And one doctor from Shodhpur, when he came here, he said, your bulls are very playful. Because from birth they have been together. He said, put 2 bulls together who are not playful. He said, this wall that you have behind, that can be broken. He said, they'll break and go apart when they want to show their prowess. Right? So we can imagine Dwapar Yuga bulls, not Kali Yuga bulls. And 7 of them. And Krishna, it is said, immediately tightens his cloth. Like before the performance. Right? When you want to have a nice gait, then you want clothes to, like flow. Because you move, the clothes move, the hairs move. But when you opt for a fight, then you tie up your hair, you tie up your clothes, because now you're for a different purpose. It's no more fashion walk. It's up for a task. And Krishna gets in, and he expands into 7. The Acharyas explain, as Prem Gopal Prabhu was also sharing, that Krishna could have done it with his single self. But Satya or Nagnajiti had heard that Krishna is already married to so many. So she would think, will he be able to give me time? And will he be able to take care of me? He has so many to attend to. So just to give Satya the feeling that I can be available and give time, Krishna expanded as 7. And took 7 bulls, each one. And very effortlessly, Krishna bridled them. And the whole arena became euphoric to see Krishna's performance. And Krishna had a very grand marriage. A very grand marriage with Nagnajiti. And a beautiful procession, Bhagavatam says, with elephants and with chariots. And Dwarkavasis were always kind of getting used to it. Krishna went out, ab Bharat aayegi. Now again Palanquin will come, someone will come. So they always were used to 1-1, and when Krishna came with 16,108, that was spectacular. Right? So Krishna, even when he gets married to Satya, he is termed as Shauri, the warrior. right? His chivalrousness. Another pastime which when I heard in Krishna book by Srila Prabhupada was one of the most exciting one is the fight the Lord had with Shalva. As you all know, Shalva was defeated, but he went and did tapasya to get a very powerful, invisible flying plane to fight. But when he uses it and he goes into the space, he's not visible. And he can shoot weapons from any direction. And he was also like a Mayavi. Apart from having a flying plane, he was a Mayavi himself. And he wanted to avenge, So when he comes to Krishna, he challenges him for fight. And the Lord, taking the challenge of Shalva, immediately starts fighting with his saranga bow and arrows. And he shoots 16 arrows to Shalva and kind of puts him in place. And Shalva is wounded by that kind of injury, immediately gets on his invisible plane and starts doing his mischief. And right when the fight is happening and all are thinking, kaha gaya? Shalva. And suddenly a messenger, unknown to anyone, comes and meets Lord Krishna and says, my dear Lord, like a Brahmana messenger came, another messenger came on the war field. And the messenger pays obeisances. He says, my dear Lord, I have come with a message from Devaki, your mother. This deadly Shalva, like a butcher takes an animal, wildly has taken your father Vasudev under his control and kidnapped him and taken him away. And the moment Krishna hears this message, he is emotionally completely weakened. With the emotions that, what of my father? What of my father? And as he's thinking about what of my father, what of my father, immediately he sees on the plain Shalva with his father. Says, you Krishna, you dare give me a combat? Look what I will do to your father. For being your father, he deserves this. And right in front of him, he took a sword and chopped off the head of Vasudeva. And that head started falling from the sky. And Krishna looking at this, horrifying, because it's someone you love the most, you're attached the most. And that head started falling and Krishna completely lost his confidence to fight. If you see Dronacharya, his defeat also happened this way. Because Dronacharya, till he's fighting, nobody can defeat him. Nobody in this world has capacity to defeat him. But when he heard about the death of Ashwatthama, he lost his desire to fight. He lost his confidence. So, for whom will I fight if my loved one is killed? So at that time he became so discouraged that he left his weapons, and that's when we see Drupada's son Drishtadyumna comes and chops off the head of Dronacharya. That's how he's demise. So in that sense, that is the same situation Krishna was in. He lost all his confidence and emotion to fight. The enemy had got on him. But right when Krishna was going down in emotions, he suddenly felt an inspiration. The Lord, when he performs his Leela, he performs it in the most realistic way. He's living it. And he immediately said, but how could this be? If Balaram is there to protect Mathura or Dwaraka, this cannot happen. And he said, it looks like something else. And then he immediately turns to the messenger. He's disappeared. And he looks at the head, that has disappeared. And Krishna understands this is all this Maya of Shalva. And now his emotions are much more. Till now he was on like, because to fight you need valor and you need some anger. Till the person has hurt you enough, you cannot feel so angry also. But now he has done something like, you have touched my core sentiment, done with it. Now we are up for a life and death sentence. Let's get together. And then Shalva started speaking heroic words. He said, you Krishna, what kind of character you have? He quotes, my friend Shishupal's wedding ceremony. I was invited, I wanted to see Shishupal, and you kidnapped his wife and ran away. What a shame. And then you brutally killed Shishupal in an assembly of a yajna just because of his some words towards you. You are a ruthless enemy. You deserve to be killed. And he started throwing words at Krishna and insulting him. And Krishna said, yes, Shalva, I can understand your death is approaching. Otherwise, chivalrous people don't fight with words, they fight with weapons. But since you know that your time has come, that's why you're speaking such words of, courage. If you really have prowess, show that. And immediately the Lord sends a dart and takes him by his attention. And then Shalva, he with of his power, he shoots, and the Lord's saranga bow, can you imagine, falls. And the whole assembly is like, what? Our hero who has never lost any combat, his bow is off. So the confident, then the Lord immediately picks himself up and fights. And then Shalva is again trying to create some mystical magic of Maya Dana. The Lord says, enough of drama. He takes his Sudarshan. He says, he will do the illuminating work and the execution and leaves the Sudarshan. Sudarshan goes and Swaha chops off the head of Shalva. And when Shalva is dead, Dantavakra was there. And Dantavakra was so angry, he forgets to bring all his weapons also. Because his anger was so much. And we know that Krishna also fairly fights and gives him the desired destination. And so we see the pastimes of the Lord. So the Lord is known as Shauri, warrior. And his leelas are always performed in a way that it can enchant the hearts of devotees. The Lord performs his Janma Karma Chame Divyam so that we can keep remembering, we can keep hearing. And the more and more we hear, the Lord's pastimes always appear new. And it's my experience that every devotee you hear from on the same pastime, and you hear something you don't know. Right? We are hearing about Rukmini, and every day devotees are speaking about Rukmini Vivaha. And something else comes out like, oh, this is also there. Oh, this is also there. So the Lord's qualities are so unlimited as he performs his pastimes. So the Lord performs his chivalrous acts so that he can enchant the hearts of his devotees. That's his purpose. And why does he want the hearts to be enchanted? In this world also everybody is trying to enchant people. But their wanting to enchant us is like, the beauty of this world is like a death blow. They are enchanting so that they can exploit. The very purpose of that enchantment is for their own interest. They don't have any interest for you. It's them. But Krishna's beauty is not of that nature. Krishna's enchantment is not of that nature. Krishna is displaying so that he would want his devotees to come back to him in a shelter, and the Lord can shower them with affection and love. He wants to serve the devotees. He wants to make the devotees happy. He wants to bless them. He's attracting to serve. And that's a remarkable difference between the activities of this mundane world and the activities of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is filled with love. All his manifestations are his expansions of his love. His love manifesting in so many ways. And anyone who is a part of that Leela is blessed. The Lord has no envy. The Lord has no bias. The Lord has no partiality. So if an enemy loses and dies, he gets moksha. He has devotion in the heart, transported to the spiritual world. You don't hear that. If somebody is defeated, he's gone. But you don't give him all your wealth to him. Oh, you've come to fight with me. Here, take all my wealth. That won't happen, but that's Krishna. Anyone who comes to him is blessed. That is the Supreme Lord, Shauri. And every pastime of the Lord is actually done with that kind of valor and rasa. His marriages, his fights, and his exchanges with his devotees. The Lord is Achyuta, never fails in reciprocating with his devotees. The aspect of the Lord is whatever the devotee desires, the Lord is in action. Just like the devotee's itinerary is how to serve the Lord's itinerary is how to fulfill the desires of devotees of the Lord. This devotee wants to serve me in this specific way. I want to fulfill his desire. That's the itinerary of the Lord. But the way the Lord will fulfill the desire is going to be again a thriller. It's not going to go the way we expect. And all of us have experience like working in this project or working anywhere else. We think maybe it will happen this way. And no. So the element of Lord's reciprocation is the factor of surprise, anticipation. What will happen? If you want to make a very good drama or something, the audience need to keep thinking, what next? What next? What next? And if you're with Krishna in his Leela, within the association of devotees, always you will be like, what next? Hoga kya? I want to make my investment, but will it work? It will work for sure in the conclusion. But till the conclusion, it will be series of surprises and surprises and surprises. So if you're getting into a romance with Krishna, this is going to be the menu. Again and again. And as we see in the Bhagavatam, the most unexpected things happen when Krishna is involved. Right? But even though the most amazing things happen, which may even cause fear, but everything is in control of Krishna. In the finale, he will do something and done. The jigsaw puzzle which was created, done. And then your reflection at the end is, Arey, aisa hi to hona tha. It should have happened just this way. If it had gone the way I thought, maybe this would not have happened. And all of us have this experience. We think in a particular way, but when the Lord makes it happen, it just happens like that. Right? Since it's time, I would not like to take more of your time, but this is an experience and a quality of interaction we can have when we are with the Lord. What next? Surprise, but He will fulfill the desire. The Lord is Varadar Shabha. That's His quality. He takes great pleasure. You go to a big man and say, can you do this for me? It's insult for him if he can't fulfill. कि मांगने आया था, उसको खाली हाथ भेज दिया. Raghu, King Raghu, who is the Vamshaj, Lord Ram, he had become a pauper. He gave all wealth, and a Brahmana came who wanted to celebrate his Guru's birthday or Vyasa Puja, and he wanted 10,000 gold coins. And he was already a pauper. So when Raghu was approached and said, he didn't approach, actually the Brahmana was about to go to Raghu. Someone said, our king is already a pauper, don't go to him. So he said, I don't want to embarrass the king. Right? So he started leaving. But the spies told the king that here was a Brahmana who came to ask, but seeing your treasury to be zero, he has gone back. King Raghu said, bring him back. So they went to the exteriors of his kingdom and brought that Brahmana who was shy to ask and said, what do you want? He said, I want 10,000 gold coins for my Guru's Vyasa Puja. And Raghu said, so be it. He took his arrow and pointed to Kubera's planet or wherever, treasury. And he said, Kubera, up for the combat, I am coming. And Kubera was so pleased with Raghu, he said, immediately he caused a shower of rain of gold coins. And whatever treasury Raghu had became 10 times of that. And the Brahmana collected the coins as they were raining, and he was a very noble man. He only collected what he wanted. And rest gave it to the king. So he said, Raghukul Reet Sada Chali Ai, Pran Jai, Par Vachan Na Jai. So somebody comes to ask, he said, it's not in them. They'll give their life, but fulfill your desires. So similarly, Krishna is the biggest man. Any desire you make, he's going to do it, but with a surprise. So we have to be Shauri like Krishna. Krishna is Shauri in performance, and we have to be Shauri in patience like Vasudeva. Then the combination will hit. Two warriors meet together. Then the chivalrous action will happen. So like Vasudeva, we have to be patient. Patient in the sense we are endeavoring with enthusiasm, but dhairya. And then the surprise factor, and Krishna will do it in the finale. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna Bhagavan ki, Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. To you can add some comments and give mic to Prabhu. Old voice.
I feel the power of that mic, your voice becomes booming everywhere. You feel so important. When you just try to talk to people, you realize it's just going out of minute, trying to be heard. I like this space. So that was I would say that's in many years like the best lecture I've heard in years. I don't think that was wow. It's perfect. Especially because it takes a pastime of Krishna and brings it so that we can really understand it. I'm afraid to sit there tomorrow. It's so good. You're like that student, the students that was in high school, you just get you ace the exam. And I'm going to struggle tomorrow. Anyway, that lecture was perfect just for me. Because that's exactly what I'm trying to attempt to do is chase the rhinoceros. And it is true, it's always unintended consequences. You never, they always try to build a road, we're going to make the expressway so there won't be any traffic jams. They build the road, fills up already. Now they got to build another road. There's always unintended consequences. And that's what makes it interesting. Because Krishna doesn't make our lives boring if we have big ambitions. And I'll leave you with this. The Prabhupada said once, he said, there's no life without ambition. He also said, what's the point of living without prasadam? So let's go take prasadam.